We have a very, very important game on the weekend. It's a pre-planned bracket, but I'm very, very optimistic for the sole purpose of the squad depth we have and what we saw last night in our Champions League game against Kairat. Leeds, they're a very tough team to play against, especially away. We've seen a lot of teams crumble there. They're not very good away, but at home, they're a bit of a force, I'll be honest. We beat them 5-0 last time. I'm hoping we can repeat the same scoreline. But I do want to see a few changes, and these changes are purely from what I saw in the Champions League clash midweek. How do you feel about the game? How do you feel about how it's
Mm,
going to go?
I think it's going to be a real big test for us. I think if we can go away to places like Leeds, places like Fulham and these kind of places and get like these convincing wins, then it's going to push me more to believe that the title is ours. Because,
Yep.
I mean, like we said before, the gap is 4 points. It's kind of these bogey teams that kind of, give you those stumbling blocks in the way that you need to overcome. So, if we can overcome this, I think it's going to be a tricky affair. But if we can overcome it, then I'm confident, going forward, like with the other teams and such that are kind of similar level to Leeds, but who also can still be a problem, that we should be okay. But I think the main thing is just Man City 4 points behind, and yet again, I mean, we don't know how it's going to turn out. They're playing Tottenham on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to drop points? Are they not going to drop points? That kind of thing. They might scrape a draw? That kind of thing. But just knowing that they're creeping up on our tails and we're playing a team that can really give us some damage and cause us some trouble, and that damage and trouble looks like either losing the game or just keeping it at a draw, which we can't afford to do. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tasty affair nonetheless. But I just can't. I just don't know which way this one's going to go.
I think Arsenal have an opportunity here to widen the gap. I think Tottenham is Man City's bogey team, but the way Tottenham have been playing in the Premier League has not been great. I mean,
Hmm.
they've given West Ham fans something to cheer about because they lost in the last minute. They've
Yeah.
lost against us 4-1, gave Eze his hat trick. He's gone missing ever since then, but again, not his fault entirely. But Arsenal, everything's in their hands. Whatever they do, however they set up, it's in their hands. We as fans, we know what Arsenal are capable of. We've seen the squad, we've seen the damage we can do. We need to just take that, implement it in games, and win. I think the momentum for us now, after finishing first in Champions League, should be a sign that what we've done that. And obviously, with this new Champions League, with the layout, I think it's the second or third year to finish first in Europe is actually a big thing,
Yeah.
considering how much scrutiny we've had at the start of the season.
The
Some of
teams
the
that we
losses,
played, yeah,
yes, the teams we played, a lot of people writ us off, especially against that Bayern Munich game.
yeah,
They're like, oh, the same old story. Bayern Munich's going to beat you and whatnot. But look, we beat them. Yeah, whether you want to say it's by luck or not, that's obviously your opinion. But Arsenal have a chance here to extend the gap. And one thing I want to point out is I'm very positive because despite the United loss, we dropped points a few months ago and we were only 2 points ahead of Man City. And we created such a gap that it almost went to 9 points. So I don't feel like Arsenal are incapable of doing that again. It rests
mm,
in their hands. Now we only got one game to spare. If we let's say we did lose on Saturday, we'll be down to 1 point behind Man City if they were obviously to beat Tottenham. That's something you don't want. What you want to do is you want to create that cushion. So some games at Man United which you do lose, you've got compensation of those extra points. Now I'm not saying it's okay to lose. I'm definitely not saying that, but we definitely need to make sure that we're on point.
yeah.
We need to make sure we're getting the 3 points and our setup. One important player I want to talk about before I go into a team sheet or anything is Kai Havertz. I think what I saw with him and Gyökeres was amazing. I feel like Havertz, because of Bundesliga, used to play behind the striker, feeding the balls. He knows exactly the movement Gyökeres is doing. And it's very evident that he can analyze Gyökeres' move, and because of that, he can feed the ball in. And look, Gyökeres got a really good through ball pass and scored. And Gyökeres hasn't scored a goal like that in the Premier League. He scored it in Champions League yesterday. I've not seen him do that all season. The goals he's getting are probably tap-ins or header or whatever. But like what he's doing at Sporting, where someone feeding the ball, he's running in behind,
Yeah.
bam, scores. That was what we saw the Sporting Gyökeres yesterday with that goal. And then after that, Havertz scores a goal and a great goal. If anything, people saying it's a foul. Gyökeres, he's a brick house. Trust me, not weights in him. So I feel like Havertz, in my opinion, is needs to be starting with Gyökeres in that starting 11 because the presence and I think the way Havertz understands the striker role is enabling him to make those passes. I think it'll be great. I think as well the defense because we've got everyone back now. We've got so much to play around with.
Mm.
I don't think Leeds is a game you need to play around with. This is a game you need to definitely win. I just want to talk about the worst case scenario. I don't know how you feel, but let's say Arsenal were to lose. How would you feel? And do you think it's going to damage us long term in the season? Well, I won't even say long term because I haven't got many games left. We're more than halfway through the season.
I think it will. I think it will cause massive upset and hurt for our players. Again, if it was to happen, I would go back and think about what Mikel Arteta said in the press conferences after the loss, or even the draws against like Nottingham Forest, for example, and then the loss against Manchester United. Just about the whole club's mentality and the player mentality. You know, I mean, I'm all for winning the game like we did yesterday in the Champions League against the team that sits bottom of the Champions League table. However, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were tested mentally. Arsenal were not tested mentally. It's games like Leeds away which test you mentally. And if we were to lose that, God forbid, that's ultimately showing us that our mentality shift from the Manchester United game hasn't gone far. And it's worrying, again, knowing that Manchester City will then be 1 point behind us, trailing on our tails, with two new acquisitions who are not just anybody's, they are somebody's, with the likes of Semenyo and Mark Gay. So I think it will have a massive effect on us, just knowing that they're there, for the second Premier League game in the row that we've lost. The two games before that were draws when they should have been wins. I think if you're asking my personal opinion, the only way that we're going to win this game come Saturday is if we bury our chances early, just like we should have done against Nottingham Forest and just like we should have done against Liverpool.
We can't do this thing where we only score in the second half. 'Cause I feel
Mm.
that's what Arsenal are doing quite frequently in the Premier League, and it does haunt us in the end. We were fantastic in the first 15 minutes against Man United, but being fantastic isn't good enough. You need to
Mm.
score. You can play amazing football, but if you're not scoring,
What's the point,
there's
ultimately?
no point. Yeah, I don't want to be remembered for we played better than Man United, so it doesn't feel like a loss. That's what they sing.
Mm.
Yeah, when we beat them 1-0 at Trafford, we played better than you.
Mm.
But ultimately, the 3 points is what matters.
Yeah.
So we need to get the goals in early. Now we have plenty of options now. We got a whole squad back. We haven't had that squad. We haven't had a squad like this. What, since not even the start of the season? This is the first time we've had everybody assembled. Yeah, the Avengers, America, Hulk, Thor, everybody's back now. So Arsenal, again, it just rests in their hands. I hope Arteta sets up very, very attacking,
Mm.
pile on the pressure, score. Not do this whole switch the ball from one side of the field to the other side, to this side, to the other
Yeah.
side. It needs to be put in the back of the net.
Direct football,
Direct football, that's
pressure,
it.
squeeze up the pitch, be
Yes.
aggressive.
All that good stuff which will lead to goals, that's what we
Yeah.
need.
Every time that we played against our opposition, Kairat in the Champions League, okay, yeah, fair enough, they're not the best of teams in the world,
Yeah.
but they are a team nonetheless, and you have to take them seriously. But I think the way that we squeezed up the pitch, the way that we applied the pressure, the way that we suffocated them, and every single time that we drove with the ball, it was with intent.
Yeah.
When I say intent, I'm talking about, you've got one main objective, and we're doing anything to achieve that. If it's Madueke, if it's Gyökeres, if it's Havertz. I mean, for goodness sake, Havertz's goal, the build up for that, Gyökeres and Havertz were ultimately pretty much fighting for that ball until Gyökeres left it for Havertz. So it's that kind of hunger, that drive that we need to cause a threat to the back lines coming into the Premier League. And it's at this business stage of the season where we just can't afford to not do that. So I'm
Hmm.
hoping that we come with that mentality come Saturday afternoon.
I think the games we have coming up as well, it's going to be a real statement for our end of, that the end of season where we're touching distance of the Premier League. We've got Sunderland, we've got Brentford, we've got Tottenham and Chelsea. Those games are all very, very vital. Some look really hard on paper, some look really easy on paper, but again, we expected to beat Sunderland away. We
Mm,
couldn't. We drew. Tottenham, I'm very confident we'll beat. I'm not just saying that because we're rival fans, but I think we'll beat them.
yeah.
Another team which obviously might cause us problems is Chelsea. They haven't lost underneath their new manager yet. Got a nice win the other night against Napoli.
We've got Manchester City away as well, don't
We've got
forget.
Manchester City, but I think the next few games are going to be that decided factor in, are we going to go behind Man City or are we going to stay ahead of Man
Mm,
City? So yeah, but we'll get into our team sheet now and score prediction before we wrap
yeah.
up the video. But I'm gonna go with our. So I'm gonna stick with the same lineup that we had against Man United.
Yeah.
David Raya goalkeeper. Right back. You know what? Right back. I want to go with Ben White, and then centre backs. I'm going with Gabriel and Saliba.
Yeah, I agree.
Left back. I'm gonna go with Calafiori.
Calafiori.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying Timber's, been playing poorly. I just want to see Ben White because he's a bit more tackle and get that goal early. So that's what I want to. I want to start as the back line. How do you feel about that?
Same, I agree.
Midfield, now interesting midfield. I think Norgard played fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to see him play. Zubimendi, I'm not saying you're a flop, but I mean that goal you gave away against Man United did cost us. I'll be
I
honest.
think he will start though.
Yeah, he
I
will
think he will
start, and I'm
start.
also not gonna be mad at that. Look, again, it's just his first season.
He is a fantastic
He's
player.
a great
He's
player. I
gelled
do
really
like
well.
him. He's I mean, look, he got a fantastic goal against Chelsea as well. That made us win the game 3-2. So I'm not gonna write him off, but I'd like to see Norgard, but I think Zubimendi will probably start with Rice. The number 10 role, I'm going to say Havertz. I want him. I think Arteta probably knows what he saw the other day in the Champions League game. We need him behind Gyökeres. So Gyökeres up front, Havertz behind him. On the right, I want Saka. And then on the left, I want Trossard. But I only want those two because I do want to see the two wingers that played on the midweek to come on as subs because they were
Yeah.
electric on both sides. I want to see Norgard come on. And I do want to see Timber come on for Ben White, maybe after the 60th minute, just to see the game out defensively.
Mm.
And yeah, how do you feel about that lineup?
I'm feeling okay. The only thing that I would change, I think something that I really like to see, and I was really in awe almost um, midweek against Kairat, was watching Havertz, Gyökeres, and Eze kind of pull those strings together. I didn't. It's something that I haven't seen Erdegaard do. Not to say that he's not performing or to discredit him or anything like that, but that kind of burst of energy, that kind of quick passing and moving. Because sometimes I find that maybe Erdegaard might hold him to the ball for a bit longer, but I think Eze, Havertz, and Gyökeres kind of Eze being the bridge between them both would be really nice to see. So someone like Havertz is a bit more attacking than Erdegaard.
Mm,
Someone like Eze has got a better pass than Rice, for example, and someone like Zubimendi can just hold. But I think just those quick transitions, and especially with the likes of having like someone like Saka and Trossard on the left and right, and then your Yoker is up front, you're going to cause some damage because again, those transitions when we were playing against Kairat midweek, those transitions from defense to midfield to attack was so quick
yeah.
that it caught them out. And again, just literally what happened in the first minute when Yoker scored, we caught them out, we caught them napping. And in the second one, when the ball went over straight to Havertz, again, caught them napping. Those quick breaks, everyone's ready and up for it. So I think I would like to see Eze, Havertz, and then Zubimendi in the middle. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I think maybe he's going to go for Erdegaard, even though, again, like you, I want to see Havertz.
Yeah.
And then he's going to put Rice and Zubimendi just to be on the safe side because it is the Premier League and you are playing away. But if you're asking me personally, I would like to see Havertz and Eze and Zubimendi in the middle.
Definitely. Score predictions, I'm going to go for, because I know it's Leeds, they're a very tough team, but I think with everybody on the bench now, full squad, I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I was going to say the same 2-0.
2-0. I'm going to say Victor Gyökeres with the goals.
Yeah.
Both, I'm going to say, both goals. And if Havertz starts, I think he'll get an assist.
Yeah. I'm going to go for goal scorers, Gyökeres, and then Trossard.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Trossard's been great in the Premier League. He didn't really have a particularly good game against Man United, but I mean, overall, his positives outweigh negatives. He's more consistent in the Premier League than he is in Champions League, and we know Martinelli is very consistent in the Champions League.
Literally the opposite way.
Yeah, which is good though.
Yeah.
At least you got players for both competitions. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's our score predictions. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you all on the journey. There's no watch along this Saturday, unfortunately, because obviously the blackout. And like I said, we don't do dodgy boxes around here, so we can't watch it. Yeah. And yeah, make sure you comment down below what you think the score prediction might be. Will we beat Leeds? And what does it mean if we do not beat them? Are we in trouble? Is the season done for the Premier League title? Let us know down below. Till next time.